He's an introvert, interviewing strangers from the internet, knocking down the walls of his comfort zone, one conversation at a time. This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
The Gary Cantrell Podcast, April 1st, 2020. What's up, everybody? Yes, I know it's April Fool's Day, but we're not pulling any pranks here. We've just got an awesome show for you. I am looking forward to chatting with Danielle. You might know her on Instagram at Danielle Gets Fit 91. I've been following her for a long time now. I've seen her story unfold on Instagram, and I'm looking forward to getting her here on the podcast today to hear all about her very, very powerful story. I'm so excited to check it out. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to the Patreon fam. Kaitlyn at Kaitlyn Elise. That's 3 Y's in her name. Vanessa at Vanessa Ray's Journey. Amanda at Mutts_and_Miles, and Morgan at DDPY Mama. These awesome people are helping to keep the lights on in this joint, and I could not do it without their support. Let me tell you, they're awesome. If you want to join this exclusive group, head over to patreon.com/Gary Cantrell, make a donation. In return, I'm going to give you the weekly podcast that we do. You will get them 5 days early, ad-free, higher quality MP3, private RSS feed. And here's one of my favorite perks, 25% off the Hard Work Always Wins web store. Are you kidding me? Whew. My wife's going to kill me if she knew I was giving y'all 25%. Shh, don't tell her. So there you go. Patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. And if you're looking for an easy, free way to donate to help out to the show, it's really simple. Head over to Apple Podcasts, iPhone, iPad, Mac. I know most of you guys listening to me are coming from the Apple ecosystem. I know Team Apple, love you guys. But even if you got like one of those old PCs or even newer ones, it's got iTunes on it. You can head over to the podcast tab, search the Gary Cantrell Podcast, and rate and review, 5 stars, of course, assuming that you like the show. And you just leave a sentence or two. What kind of value does the show give to you? Why should people check it out? Those kind of things help new people find it. I don't need to say this every week like in great detail, so I'll just make it very simple. Apple puts a lot of stock into these reviews. That is how their algorithm is based. So the more reviews we get, the more people will find this show. I'm trying to get to 100 reviews by the end of this year. I don't think that's a tall order. So head over, help out if you can. It just takes literally just a moment. And cool. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead. Let's get Danielle on the phone. I'm so excited to talk to her and hear all about her story one-on-one. So let's do this. Danielle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm relieved now that I found my SD card. I am so sorry about that.
That's okay. What happened? Just misplaced it?
Yeah. So I was copying over some files that I had recorded previously, and somehow I left it in a small pocket of my wallet and did not realize it. So I'm digging in my bag. I'm digging in this little computer pouch thing that I have within my bag. I'm digging in my desk. I'm like losing my mind here, but I found it. It was in my wallet the whole time.
I don't even know if I would have thought to look there.
Dude, oh my God. The thing is, I thought that by it being in my wallet, it would be safe because, we keep our credit cards, we keep our money in our wallet. I'm like, oh, there's no way like I'm going to lose it in there. Well, technically I didn't lose it. I just misplaced it.
Right.
So anyway, how is your Thursday going? I hope you're off to a better start than I am.
Well, my Thursday, I worked out and I worked. So now I'm off tonight, and then I have my dart league later today that I'm a part of.
Dart league. How does that? Now I'm fascinated by that because I know my ex-wife's father performed in a dart league. I think at like the Moose Lodge or one of these places. But I've never actually, I've played darts once or twice and I'm terrible at it. Explain to me like
how you, number one, got into it, and then how do you like get involved in a league and stuff?
Well, I got into it because my boyfriend's been in the league for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So when him and I started dating in 2018, one of the girls needed a substitute, so I said, "Oh, I'll play." And then I was invited back because they had a girls opening. So I was invited back to play this year.
Oh, perfect. And how well do you play?
I'm decently good. I think maybe it was a beginner's luck last year because I've been in a dry spell lately, but um there's a tournament at the end where everyone who either played or subbed gets to, play in the tournament, and I won the female tournament last year, so that was exciting.
That is exciting. I've been hard pressed to hit like the outer edge of the board, let alone try to get it, close to the center or on one of the higher points. It's a mess. My wife looked at me one time. We were at a Moose Lodge a couple of years back, and she just looked at me and she's like, you just need to put the darts down. I was like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm trying over here.
Oh man. Practice.
You got that right. I'm a mess with it, but maybe one day, I don't know. Maybe you've convinced me. Maybe I will try it again someday, and we'll see what happens.
There you go.
There you go. So, I was looking this up, and one of the fun things I like to do is scroll back through Instagram, and we started talking, would you believe this, almost 3 years ago.
I was about to say it had to have been like 2017.
Yes. Isn't that
wow,
crazy?
I know, that's such a long time ago.
I know. I was looking back because I was like, I've been wanting to ask you to come on the podcast for a very long time, but like, I am just terrible with like making that first move. Like, there are so many people that I've asked, they're like, "Oh, I don't know why you didn't ask sooner. I would have been glad to come on." But like, I'm kind of introverted a little bit. And so it's kind of hard for me to reach out sometimes. And so like, you're one I've been following like forever. I mean, you've just crushed it. I'm like, we gotta get her on this podcast.
Oh, well, yeah, better late than never, right?
That's right. Speaking of the Instagram, and we'll talk about, your background and your journey and all that, but how did you, kind of get involved in, I guess, like the weight loss community part of it? Cause I feel like a lot of us, like we're on Instagram, like just for fun initially, like we just create a profile, we're posting pictures of us out, our food, like whatever it may be. But like, how did you decide, like, I'm going to make this like a weight loss thing?
Well, so I actually have my Danielle Gets Fit 91 account, and then I have a personal one.
Right.
And so I had, occasionally posted on my personal one for years. And like the spring leading up to when I decided to make the change, I was like, you know what? Like, I think this would be a good form of accountability. And then I was like, no, let's not do it. Let's not create one. And then it wasn't until I think like September or October of after I started my journey, because I started in June of 2017. I was like, you know what? I'm doing pretty good at this. Maybe if I post a day, I'll post after I work out. So it's like a form of accountability. So like this day I'll post my food, and this day I'll post my workout. This day, and it kind of just, I was like, man, I got to be creative with my name because, I followed Lexi. I followed Jessica from Florida. I follow, a whole bunch of people too, who, made incredible, footage of their weight loss. And I was like, I need to get let's create a username and let's just see where it goes. And it kind of sprung.
I love that because I talk a lot about the power of photos, right? Like, maybe a lot of people are nervous to share their journey, but I'm always like, you know what, even if no one ever sees these photos, like just take them for you, because I guarantee now we're just talking for the very first time on the phone and we've talked a little bit, but I'm willing to bet at one day or another, you might have had like a down day, but I guarantee you look at a photo and you're like, you know what? I'm not doing too bad, right?
Absolutely.
They help tremendously, these photos. Like I look at some of these photos and I've certainly had my bad days here and there. And I'm just like, these photos are a tremendous help.
Oh, absolutely. Like, within this past year, I think I put on maybe about 15 pounds, and, so like I can see it in my face a little bit, and that's okay. Like I'm still happy with where I'm at. Like this is amazing from where I started. And so even now, like if I take a picture and I'm like, oh, my face is so big right now, I scroll up a little bit and I'm like, yeah, but you're so much farther than where you were. So it puts things into perspective. It really does.
Definitely. Tell me about where you grew up and stuff. You're from the Midwest, right?
Yep. So I was born and semi-raised in Chicago suburbs, and my family moved to Wisconsin when I was 12. So I've been in Wisconsin ever since.
I can hear it in the accent.
Oh God.
So you grew up in Wisconsin. What was your childhood like?
I mean, I was one of 4 siblings. We got along, we had our fights, normal sibling stuff. I was always overweight as a kid. Um, but I was always athletic too. I played softball, I played soccer, I played volleyball, basketball. I was in all the sports, but somehow I was always, bigger than the other kids. And yeah, it kind of just kept spiraling and spiraling, but um I don't know. Like overall my childhood was good. Like a lot of family support, but yeah, I know that when at a very young age, I think I remember I was in 2nd grade, my physician told my mom that I needed to lose weight,
Right.
and like very badly. And I'm like, I didn't like would look in the mirror and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like I was 2nd grade, and so would like my mom would encourage me to be more active, even though I already was. But then like my dad kind of took it into his own hands and would it wasn't the best way. He'd like we'd be at family dinner and we were little, so our parents portioned our plates, and
Yep.
my dad would be like, Danielle, I'll give you $1 if you don't eat the rest of your supper. Like
Wow.
trying to incentivize it.
Yeah.
But and and as a kid I was like, oh hell yeah. But that didn't work because I was hungry and I ate later in the night anyway. So
Yeah, I was going to ask where that came from. Like, at such a young age, when we talk about like, being overweight and stuff. And so if your parents are portioning the plates, are you just kind of like sneaking in the kitchen to find stuff? Is that where kind of the overeating's coming from?
when I was like super, super little, like I don't remember like overeating like that. But
Yeah.
I do remember like, our lunches would have like the chip bag and, like this, that, and the other thing. So, and I had hot lunch at school. So like, I don't know how I became overweight as a kid, but I definitely was. But I do know that, starting middle school, like when you start to become more independent and you can like get food on your own and,
Oh, yeah.
Put stuff in the microwave. Yeah, I definitely snuck food all the time.
Yeah. I remember being in school and like, every day, because it was my choice, I was eating pizza like pretty much every day.
Oh yeah. And then drowning it in ranch.
Yes. Oh man. That that goes way back. That speaking of the ranch, I was also the one like at home in my adult life. I guess I'm not ashamed to say now, but I would get pizza rolls and dip those in ranch.
Oh, I've definitely done that in my adult life as well. It's okay.
Yes. I don't know where that came from, but I was just like one day, like, I wonder what this combination tastes like. And you go dip and you're like, oh my God, this is like a drug.
Right. It is so good. Pizza and ranch. Like who would have thought?
Yeah. But going back to kind of like the sneak in the food and such, that I can definitely identify with. I probably would say that I did it more closer to my adult life than I did in my kid life. Cause around my mother, I guess she just really didn't notice, she was always kind of busy and I would just pop in the kitchen. It's like, oh, here's, I don't know, Little Debbie snacks or like chips or, they're just there. And like, you grab one. It's like, this is really good. Mom's not home. All right, here's another one. And one time, maybe it's 3 or 4 in a row, which is not the best. But yeah, that early age, you just start picking up food and getting wild with it at times.
Right. And like my dad has always been an avid soda drinker.
Oh, yeah.
So I would sneak his Coca-Cola sodas. And then I would hide them. I would hide because he knew how many he had. And so I would hide the empty can so he couldn't blame it on me. So like I had this all worked out, like to sneak stuff, which is bad, but my mindset was like, you know what? I want it. We have it. So why can't, and it got bad in college. Like I lived in my freshman year dorm. It was an all you can eat. You literally swipe in and you literally can eat as much as you want. And there were times where like me and my friends would go there for I think 2 hours just to hang out, and then we'd eat, do homework, do home,
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've eaten like 8 brownies or 3 cupcakes, and you've had a whole meal as well, and soda. So it was college really hit it bad for me.
It was like a buffet. You know what? Old Gary is now thinking, damn, I should have went to college. Like this kind of sounds like something like would have been a party for him. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was like it was. We would have like my friend group and I would get together in our very last year at Marquette when we were even seniors and we didn't have the meal plan. We all paid the entry, like it was like $10 if you didn't have a meal plan to eat there.
Right.
So we all paid the $10 to have like one last hurrah meal there. And I remember that we were there for a long time.
And it's crazy because a lot of times we base events around food. Like, oh, you're talking about like the homework and going back for more. Like, I think for me, it was like, oh, my buddy would come over for video games. So like, oh, we got to have a bunch of snacks. Like they just have to be like laying around. It becomes like an event. Like everything's based around the food.
Right. And even today, like, birthday parties, do you need me to bring anything? Super Bowl parties, that's coming up.
Yeah.
And, all the dips and the wings and the chilies, like everything's going to be there.
Ugh, I don't know how we all are like still living, because I feel like whenever I go to these parties, like I'm just like, in the past, it was just like, I'm just loading up on anything and everything that I could get my hands on. It's amazing that I wasn't, 1,000 pounds when I think about it.
Right. Like it was literally a free for all.
Yeah. Yeah. And, what was high school like? Do you remember a lot about your high school life?
I kind of had the same situation where like you can pick your lunch, but I do know that once I was able to drive and I got a job.
Yeah.
So my first job was at Noodles Company.
Oh, wow.
I know. Have you heard of Noodles Company?
Have I ever? Wow. Yes.
I don't know if they're in Virginia, so I didn't. But yeah, so I worked there, I think starting in my junior year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess back it up. I had knee surgery in 8th grade because I tore my ACL.
Okay.
And that kind of sent me in a whirlwind of like depression. Like I wanted to play soccer all through high school, maybe do something in college with soccer. So once I tore my ACL and had surgery in 8th grade, oh my gosh, and I was on crutches for everyone to see, and I'm the shyest person. I was mortified. I definitely ate a lot of my feelings.
And you probably lost a lot of your confidence too, right? Because it's like, well, hey, even when I heal, like, I know my wife, she had to have her meniscus fixed a couple of years back. And it's just like, even when you heal, like fully, quote unquote, there's still that mental block of like, am I truly 100%? Can I go back to doing the things that I was doing before? And so like you're saying, that depression kind of sets in. There's some anxiety and fear and doubt and all these bad things that come into play.
Yeah. And I definitely milked it too. Like I was in crutches and I couldn't walk. So I'd be like, Mom, I'm hungry. Was I actually probably hungry? Probably not.
Yeah.
But, and then I was super shy in high school. I had like some friends, but I didn't have like a big group of friends or anything like that. So like I kept to myself a lot. And like I had some encounters where, like in middle school and high school where, I did get a good share of bullying, but
yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that led to like some overeating and binging too, because I know at times like I didn't want to eat in public in the lunchroom because like Lord of mercy, but then when I got my job at Noodles Company when I was 16, it was like a game changer. I went from school to work and I had dinner at work, and then maybe even I ate before work because I was hungry because I didn't eat at school. So that's 2 meals at Noodles Company and unlimited soda if I wanted it. It was like, so probably starting my junior year of high school through my college, it was just bad.
Did your Noodles Company have the freestyle Coke machine where you can make whatever you want?
Now, yes, but back then, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's another thing back in the day when I was a soda guy. If I was going there, my wife was pesto cavatappi. I was macaroni and cheese with the chicken on top.
Ooh, the parm chicken too.
Yeah, please. But the bullying was a lot of that because of the weight specifically.
Well, I mean, I had it in grade school, middle school, and it's just like sporadic, but I think it was enough to get me, and it was based around my weight. And it was like, I remember in like sixth grade, I was the new kid at a school. And so a girl befriended me, and like she was a super popular girl, and I didn't know,
Yeah.
And like, so I would be hanging out with her. And like, I remember one of the guys came up to me and was like, "Oh, so you think because you hang out with so and so, you're like hot because you're not."
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he rode my bus every day. And so like in the morning getting on the bus to go to school, I had to see this guy. Like it was just bad. And even in grade school, I think I was in 3rd grade. We were playing on the playground. I was running around, and like one of the guy kids came up to me and told me I should be on Slim Fast in 3rd grade.
Oh my God. Kids have they have no chill at all.
Right. So like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's based on, I guess, looks and weight, and I used to have a huge overbite and buck teeth. So like, I didn't get braces until the end of 6th grade. So it all happened. It's definitely prior to that.
Right.
So
they were just finding anything they could to mess with you pretty much. Yeah. I know when I was in elementary school, I probably got the most of my bullying. And there was one kid that like, he was actually overweight too, but for some reason he just thought like I was more overweight than him. But if you look at us side by side, we're very similar, maybe one more than the other. But I remember this guy, he just like every day was like up in my face, like, hey, fat ass, that kind of stuff. And I just remember one day, and I do not encourage this to kids to do, but back in the day, it's just like, we got to do what we got to do. I mean, I shoved the kid down as hard as I could because he just every day he was just in my face. And like, he'd talk like really like loud, and like, spit would come from his face, not spitting on me, but just when he talked.
right.
And it just, oh God, it became overwhelming.
It is. And you know what? Like, for people to just get pushed to their limits like that as a kid, like it's unhealthy, and it's not healthy for the kids that are doing it either. And then it's just negative all around.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I can imagine, back to the Noodles and Company, eating there a lot. I know when I was in high school, I was working at a McDonald's, and I went up like 4 pant sizes, 50 pounds in 4 months.
Oh my God. That would have been bad news for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were basically eating there pretty much every day that you were working there. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And then because, you make your own food. So I'm going to throw extra cheese on it, and I'm going to throw extra chicken, and, you'll get the discount for your employee meal was insane, that you got 70% off up to $12. And
wow.
back then you can get a lot of stuff for $12 at Noodles. Not so much anymore. But, it was just extra, like pesto cavatappi with cheese sauce, penne rosa with like shrimp and chicken, and then you had to get the bread with the soup. And yeah, I definitely overate. And sometimes I even brought food home for like if I was up late doing homework. Like it was bad.
Now, when we're talking like the binge eating and all that kind of stuff, was Noodles and Company like your go-to place, or did you even have like a fast food place that you would visit like frequently, like your dream meal whenever you could have it, you went here? Where was that for you?
That was Taco Bell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear that one a lot on this podcast.
It was I remember I even dragged my sister into it with me a little bit. And she was a college athlete. Like she's never been overweight in her life.
Yeah.
But when I got my license and I would be driving her around, and I'd really want Taco Bell, like I gotta have it. I'd be like, "Kelsey, we're gonna get Taco Bell, but you can't tell mom." And she's like, "Okay." And so I feel awful for that, but like my go-to is probably like the chalupas and the Mexican pizzas.
I never had the Mexican pizza. I would always get like the Crunch Wrap Supreme, or that little $1 chicken burrito with the green ranch type sauce in it.
Okay, and they also have like those cheesy Fiesta potatoes. Those were really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. The cheese roll-ups, those little. It was just those things were bad.
And then they used to have. I don't think they have them anymore. I haven't been to a Taco Bell in I don't know how long. But,
same.
They used to have like these Frutista freezes.
Yeah.
It was like those were my shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. And then what also probably wasn't good was that at the time my best friend worked at Taco Bell.
Uh-oh. I know where this is going.
I know, between Taco Bell and Noodles and Company, I don't even,
That's crazy though, because like you're in a position, like a lot of people, they'll go broke to get their fix. Like you're in a position where you're spending like very little to get that fix. So you're able to actually get even more if you really want it.
Absolutely. And I did. I don't think I was like, I knew I was overweight, but I didn't think I would like at my highest weight, I was definitely morbidly obese. But like sophomore year of high school, I knew I was overweight, but I didn't think I was, quote, that bad or that morbidly obese. And it just skyrocketed. I think, it was just.
What was the highest for you?
340.8.
Okay. Yeah, I know about that size for sure. So, you're going through high school and college and you're just kind of packing on the pounds, but we all have, I think, a moment or, something kind of triggers in our mind, like where we start to put the wheels in motion, like, I really need to do something here. And we don't always take action right away necessarily, but we have this moment where we realize, because like, let's just take pictures. For instance, you take a picture of yourself like back then, right? And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I look pretty good. I'm good with this. Like, we don't see some of the stuff because we have our angles, some, like if you take the picture of yourself, you're like, damn, I look good. Somebody else takes the picture. You're not so sure about that picture, right?
Right. Because, I know what angle hides the double chin.
Exactly. I got a great angle. It's called a beard. I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But, so I'm sure you had a moment at some point where you realized like, all right, I want to do something. I got to do something. What is that moment? What sticks out to you? What's that moment?
So there is kind of two. One was in the year my sister got married. I was in my 300s for sure.
Yeah.
And I think my highest at that point was 320. And I found out she's getting married and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be the biggest bridesmaid. And all of her friends are so tiny. Like my sister's tiny, her other sister's tiny. Like this is just going to be like, I'm going to be the eyesore of the photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I worked out, I lost 50 pounds for that wedding. But then as soon as the wedding was over, I didn't have a reason to work out anymore. Like I thought I looked good at the wedding.
Yep.
And so then old habits came back. I think even the night after the wedding, because we had to go on a road trip the night after the wedding. I had McDonald's after not having McDonald's for like 6 months. And I was like, oh yeah, this hit the spot. I know, I've been missing this. And then it just got bad. And so then I gained even more weight to the point where I was at 340. And I was just feeling really down on myself. I had just gotten out of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling myself. I feel like I'm less than. And like, I think even 3 more months went by and I would, scroll on Jessica's Instagram. I was like, man, she's out there killing it. Like, I need to get on her level. I don't know what's going on. And then May of 2017, my sister was graduating college out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And she wanted to, or I'm sorry, she graduated in 2016, but her best friend graduated in May of 2017. So we all, my sister, myself, and my mom went down to support her best friend. And we wanted to climb this, it's called Lakiji Rock. It's a pretty nice like view at the top once you get there, but it is a climb. Like you have to hoist yourself up in some spots. And I was 340 pounds and I had to lift myself. I felt so bad because I had to use my thighs so badly to where like I couldn't walk the next day because they were so sore because it took me 45 minutes to get up one spot hoisting myself up because I would get my foot up there and then I'd fall because I couldn't,
Yeah.
And it's like that. And then there were people behind me and then I'd stop and let them pass because I was just so embarrassed. And so like My sister got up there with 0 problems. My at the time 54-year-old mom got up there with 0 problems. I was like, okay, like it's me. Like it's me, I'm the problem. Like I want to be able to enjoy things like this and not feel like I'm an embarrassment. You know, like I can't even imagine what my mom and sister felt if they were embarrassed, if they weren't, if they felt bad for me. You know, like I don't even to this day I didn't ask them because I mean now I guess I don't need to, but I just that really was like a hit in the head. Like you need to do something or you're not gonna be able to do much of anything with your family if it's gonna be, you know.
Yeah. No, I can relate to what you're saying there. It's like you almost feel like you're a burden to the people around you because, like, you know, for an instance, like what you mentioned, having trouble climbing up the thing, you feel like you're inconveniencing others. You're holding up people, and that takes a toll on you as well.
Yeah, like it took me 45 minutes to get up one spot, and my mom and sister were just like, "Come on, Danielle!" Like they're rooting me on the whole time. But I was like, at some point, guys, like just go without me. I was almost ready to say, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Something else you said a little while ago that I thought was really key. You were talking about, you know, getting ready for the wedding and how once you got to the wedding, you're like, all right, I have no more need to, you know, be like, you know, trying to lose weight and everything. And I think that is kind of one of the biggest issues, like in this whole like idea of weight loss and fitness is that, you know, usually there's this goal and it's usually centered around the number on the scale, for instance, or like you said, like the wedding, you know, getting into a dress. And there are people that will go to these goals and sometimes they will hit these goals. And when they hit them, they kind of just drop off and they just go back to old habits. And then they, you know, they'll gain back and they get even higher than they were before. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is such a key because, you know, in reality, this is like our lives, you know, like this is not, it's not a goal that's, you know, 6 months from now, I want to be this. It's like, this is the rest of my life. So the goals, I think, in my opinion, should really be like, you know, I want to show up to the gym X amount of times a week. I want to, you know, work on eating these things or counting these calories to this number in particular, right. You know, X amount of times a week or 7 days a week, whatever it is. Rather than I want to get to this size, because then what you're doing is you're building these long lasting habits that are going to change your life forever. And I wanted to just highlight that because I feel like, you know, a lot of folks, they fall short on that because they think, oh, you know, the goal is just, I want to weigh exactly this amount. And then when they get to that point, it's just like, okay, well, cool. We're here. So back to whatever.
And that's crazy to me because like, even, you know, like for the wedding, I wasn't focusing on the scale at that point. I just wanted to get as low as I could.
Sure.
You know, and, but one thing that kind of slowed me down was I had to order my bridesmaid's dress. And so I was like, oh man, like, should I keep trying to lose weight? What if this dress is going to be too big? And, you know, so then I was like, well, maybe I should just stay the same, you know, so that kind of also affected me a bit, but you're spot on. Like I see a lot of people who get complacent. Like once they get to their goal, they're like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm about to indulge in this XL Domino's pizza with this breadsticks. And I'm not going to work out for a week and a half and expect you to still weigh that goal weight. And that's just not reality. And, you know, that's the thing that people don't understand sometimes is, you know, weight loss is great once you get there, but once you get there, you got to make it a lifestyle. You got to keep up with it because otherwise you're just going to self-sabotage.
100%. I mean, I know when I hit my first milestone, you know, the 100 pounds down, I went back up like 20, 25 pounds because, you know, I was like on a victory lap. Essentially, I was just patting myself on the back. So it's something that I wish more people, you know, could realize. And that's why I do the podcast like this. I bring people on like you who have made like lifelong, you know, changes. And I just think that, you know, eventually if the message gets out there enough from not just me, but other people, it's like, you know, maybe it'll click for somebody. They'll say, oh, okay. Yeah, this is what I should be, you know, looking for.
Yeah. Cause you know, at the end of the day, anybody who's gone through like extreme weight loss, like we have, like you're going to get to that point where you're going to have to make that decision if maintaining the lifestyle is something you want to do. And if not, then, you know, I'm sorry to say, but you're not going to see the same results. You're not going to have those results for much longer, you know?
They're eventually going to creep up.
And then you don't notice it until 3 months later. And you're like, wait, why do my pants not fit anymore?
Yes. Yes. That is key. So when you start having these realizations, how long would you say it took before you were finally ready to start like making moves?
So the college graduation was in the middle of May of 2017. And I vowed that as soon as I got home, I'm going to clear out all the garbage from my fridge. And I lived by myself at the time. And I'm clearing everything out. I'm starting. I had already had a Planet Fitness membership for, I think, the 3 years prior. I would go with friends occasionally.
Yeah.
And AKA, there's 4 of us standing in a circle talking. We're not really working out, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I said, okay, June 1st, you have to go to the gym at least 5 days out of the week.
Yep.
I don't care what you do. And I was like, but my knees are so bad. I've had 2 knee surgeries at this point. We can't run, God forbid. And, maybe the elliptical because it's low impact. So I did that. So June 1st, it really kind of hit home and was really hard because throughout my grad school career as well, which probably worsened the charts, I went back to Noodles and Company as an assistant manager.
Oh, okay.
Because I was kind of torn between continuing education and going to grad school or looking for a job right away. So I was like, you know what? I was working at Noodles and Company for years. I know what that is. There's one right down the street. Let's just do it. And so at least so I knew I could have an income,
Oh, yeah.
And because I was I like the idea of graduating and being on my own honestly kind of terrified me. So I think I went to something familiar, and then I decided grad school was for me. And I was doing grad school full time and working at Noodles and Company 45 hours a week. So I had that Planet Fitness membership, but I didn't really use it because I was working between work and school. It was 90 hours a week. There's no way.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
And I mean, people do it. I see people on Instagram doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness, if only I could have, but
yeah, because you got to worry about burnout and stuff. I mean, even if you said, okay, Danielle, yeah, we're going to do this, like we can make it work. Like at some point you're going to burn yourself out. And once you burn yourself out, you're pretty much just going to give up again. Right. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so June 1st, I started going to Planet Fitness 5 days a week. And what really helped hold me accountable was my brother was in between moving from like an hour apart. So he crashed with me for a few weeks before his new lease started. There was like a 3-week gap.
Yeah.
And so he said, I'll go to the gym with you and I'll watch what I'm eating too. So that it helped me. Like I was not comfortable in the gym at all, but like him just being there working out with me just made me want to keep going because I felt like someone was in my corner and I wasn't like alone with a bunch of strangers at the gym.
That is so key. And that's, that's probably the one thing I wish I had, like when I started out, is having like a gym buddy. Cause I do see some people like, on Instagram and they've got like their friend that goes with them. And I'm not going to lie. I'm jealous. Like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so, I think that's great, that it got you kickstarted. Cause it's like, he's there and he's able to help, keep you accountable and motivate you. That can be really key to really kickstarting. And it should be clarified that, obviously we don't need that, but that's a great thing to have in your corner.
Mm-hmm. And like, and I would cook for the both of us, or he would cook. And, I think within that first month, I think I lost 32 or 36 pounds and he dropped, I think 18 in the first month.
So he was a pretty big guy too?
He was, I want to say he's about 220. I think he was maybe around 240. So he wasn't like, he might've been, I guess you'd say like a little overweight, but he wasn't like on my level at all.
Yeah, I would kill to be 240 right now, by the way. But no, I get it. And so you're talking about like cooking food and stuff. So that's the other thing, like, because we're so used to the binge eating and the Taco Bell and the Noodles Company and all this stuff, like, how is the transition for you? You talked about like, I'm going to go home and clean out my fridge of everything. What is the transition like? And did you have any initial like reservations or like tough, in the transition of starting to eat healthy?
Yes, I struggled so badly. I was terrified. I didn't want to fail. It was like the first week. So when in doubt, I called Olive Garden actually, and I asked them, "Do you guys have a low calorie dressing?" And they said yes. And so I bought so many huge salads from Olive Garden with their low calorie dressing, and I lived off of those for I think 3 days while I researched. I was like, June 1st is my I was like, June 1st is my deadline. I have to start. I can't not start. It like otherwise I'm gonna push it off to the next month, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, June 1st, we're doing this. And then I researched, I was like, okay, I can easily make eggs and turkey sausage or eggs and turkey bacon. I'm like, that's easy. Okay. And then another thing I got hooked on was sugar-free Jello. I made a ton of that to snack on.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest snack ever. Was probably I was probably eating my weight in sugar-free Jello, and I just tried making like the most simple things possible. One, I knew things that I liked. I loved tacos. I liked Taco Bell, and so I would get the leaner versions of the meats, and then I like looked up what a portion size is, and tried sticking to definitely the portion sizes.
Yes.
I found out that, Greek yogurt can be used for sour cream, and one whole little container of Greek yogurt is the same as 2 tablespoons of sour cream. So you're really saving a lot of calories there. And so it's,
wow. I didn't even know that.
Finding, yeah, like the little Oikos yogurts, I think are like 70 calories. And like 2 tablespoons of sour cream is like 60 or 70.
Okay. Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah. And so, and it's creamy too. So it kind of mimics sour cream a bit.
I'm gonna need to try that. So
you should. It's so good. I still do it to this day.
Oh, it's perfect. See, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, and so like I was able to find little things like that really helped me. So like a lot of my meals were salads, eggs, and like naked taco bowls.
So that's the thing too. I mean, to kind of sum it up, it's like you found stuff that you liked, and you're finding, maybe like the healthier version of it. Like for me, like I loved burgers. So, okay, what do we do with that? We make the red meat burger into a turkey burger. And, back in the day, I used to eat 2 of them in one dinner. Okay, let's go down to 1. And I still kept the one, dressed up with the cheese and the sauce and the bun and all that. But then eventually I got rid of the bun and started putting it into a wrap. And then eventually I got rid of the wrap, and I would now just eat the meat with the cheese and the sauce on it. And that satisfied me as equally as a regular burger would. So you were finding things that were things that you liked, but they were just like a healthier alternative.
Absolutely. Even like that like awesome 2-ingredient pizza dough. That was a lifesaver too, because I loved pizza. I would late night order pizza all the time.
Yes.
For example, I studied abroad in 2013, and any night that we went out, which was probably 3 nights a week, we ordered pizza. So I was like, man, I love pizza. What can I do? So the 2-ingredient pizza dough really helped save me a lot of calories there too.
Now, the 2-ingredient pizza dough, is this something you buy or is this something you're making?
Oh, you're making. It's 1/4 cup of plain Greek yogurt and 1/4 cup of self-rising flour, and it makes a really good thin crust.
No kidding, man. I'm just learning all the hacks from you today. I love this. I'm glad we did this. So, and then the portion control thing is huge too. Like I remember when I was first starting out, like, I like cereal, but I used to get like the big ass bowl and just load it up. And so now, or even then and now, it's like I take out the cup and I'm like, okay, a serving size is 1 cup. Cool. Fill up 1 cup, pour, and then you get the serving of the milk, pour. And I like to throw a banana in there as well, just for a little sweet tooth on top of it. But that's, portion control. That's huge. Like even if let's just say somebody's just getting started and they're like, I just love my stuff, I'm sticking to it. Cool. You can even just start with just portion control. Now, eventually I think you're going to find like new habits and you're going to work your way into a more healthier thing. But even if you just started on portion control alone, that makes a huge difference. That's just like cutting out soda and going to like water. These little things make a massive difference over time.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, I love that. So we're figuring out our food. We're starting to get the workout going. And you said within the first month, you lost about 30 pounds or close to that?
Yeah, between I think 30 and 35.
Wow. That's crazy because I know you had saw like a massive weight loss over the course of 1 year. It was like over 150, right?
Yep.
So how many pounds were you say you were losing in a month average?
Okay, so for the first 3 months, I probably lost, it was like 30 to 35. The second month was like about 20 to 25.
Yep.
Third month, another 20 to 25. And then like after, I want to say like February or March of 2018, so about 5 to 6 months into it, I started, losing maybe 10 or 7. And then that's when I kind of discovered diet bets to help hold me accountable too. And so it was a lot at first. I probably lost the last 50 pounds of that 150 was the hardest.
Right.
So like once I got down to about 220, everything below 220 was a battle. And but like that first 120, it kind of like melted off. I'm gonna be quite honest. Of course, I had my plateaus,
Yes.
but and so the biggest thing I can say with anybody who hits a plateau is do not get discouraged because it happens to everybody.
That's what I wanted to ask you about because, especially in your particular situation, and of course, everyone's going to be different. And we should preface that right off the bat because the results you're seeing are not necessarily going to be the results that other people are going to see. But how you stay on track and not get discouraged when you hit these plateaus, what did it for you that kept you kind of positive and on the straight and narrow to keep going?
Well, my sister kind of told me, she goes, like you're going to get to a point where you're not losing weight for like a week or two. And she like stressed me. She's like, just please don't give up. Like you're doing so good. Don't let like 2 weeks of not losing anything discourage you. And I said, okay. And I said, after my first plateau, like I was about a week into it and I was like, man, this sucks. Like,
yeah,
this is what she's talking about. I'm used to losing at least 2 to 3 pounds a week. Like what's going on here? And so what I did was I kind of jogged up my body a little bit. What I mean by that is I either took an extra rest day, but then was still active. So I went like on a walk by the lake or something.
yes,
Or I ate maybe 500 calories more for a day or 2 days just to like get my body thinking that I kind of had to switch it up a little bit. Like,
sure.
I mean, I probably would have broken the plateau, just keep pushing and kept things going as I did. But I think kind of like my body thinking it's getting a rest day and then the next day going hard at the gym and like but let me make sure I say like the 500 calories extra I'm eating, it's not a cheat meal. It's still good stuff. Like I'm
Sure.
not, you know what I mean? And so like, I think I don't want to say tricking my body, but like making my body think like, okay, this is going to be our new routine now. And then like, just kidding, I'm going back, it really helped.
Yeah, I think switching it up where you can is massive. I know for me, for the longest time, I was an afternoon workout person. And after a while, I mean, part of it was I was just tired by the time I was getting there, I had like an hour and a half drive to the gym and I was getting to the gym and falling asleep in the parking lot. But part of it is like, so now I go, first thing in the morning, 2:45 a.m. I leave the house. I'm there by 4. And that was a big help. That was a huge help. I work about an hour away from my home. So, I've got to get up super duper early. So I'm up at 2:45 at the gym by 4, out the door and over to work by 6:30. That's like my whole plan.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But switching the routine can be huge. And so not even just schedule changing, but also like what you're doing, the workouts you're doing, because I know like there was a time where the stair stepper, I got used to that. And I don't know how anybody gets used to the stair stepper, but
you were crushing that stair stepper. I remember you would have your videos early in the morning and I'd always wake up and play them. And then you'd always have the stair stepper going always.
Yes.
I remember that you'd be on there for like an hour.
Yeah. I got up to like 337 floors one time.
Wow.
And I needless to say, when I started training for my first 5K in 2018, I gave up the stairs for a while. And when I went back, let's just say the performance was not quite there, but that's good because again, changing up the routine. Like I noticed when I was like really good on the stairs, I kind of got this routine and it was fine. But after a while, it was kind of like, okay, I'm too used to this. So when I switched to the running, that was like my body felt like it was fatigued a little bit because I was giving it a new challenge. And then so when I was done with the run, I was like, oh, back to the stairs for a little while. I'm fatigued again because my body's got to get used to the stairs again. So it's like just when your body gets used to a particular workout, bam, now you move on to something else.
Absolutely.
That is huge. I mean, that is a massive change that you can make to really get it, really get your stuff in gear.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. But oh my goodness, 2:45. What time do you go to bed then, if you don't mind me asking?
About 8:00.
Okay.
Now I don't always hit that number, and that's, that can be bad. I actually recently changed my schedule again. So now instead of doing Monday through Friday, I'm doing Tuesday through Saturday because a lot of my family, for whatever reason, they like to come and visit on Sundays. I don't know what it is about Sundays, but they come over and they hang out and whatever. So like, I always felt bad because I'm like going to bed at 8:00 and I have to leave them there. Sometimes they're not even getting here till 6, almost 7:00. And
Right.
so I was like, oh, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to take Monday off and just move the schedule down by one day and just get it in bam, 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 Tuesday through Saturday. So this is the other thing too, that people should, I think they should realize. It's like, the traditional thing you have in your mind, like Monday to Friday, it doesn't have to be that way. Make it work for you. And then you avoid kind of the anxiety and the worry about things when you just kind of customize it around you.
I 100% agree because when I was doing my weight loss, I worked Tuesday through Saturday, 2 p.m. to 11, which I liked because I could get to the gym at 8 in the morning and I would always work out about between 8 and 10 to about noon.
Yep.
Or like whenever I got there, it was about an hour and a half workout. And then I come home, make my brunch lunch combo, and then pack my lunch and go to work. And that routine was great for me. And now I work a 7:45 to 4:30, half an hour drive. So I tried going to the gym after work, but oh my goodness, I don't want to do that at 5:00. You know?
No way.
But lately, this whole past week, I've been getting up at 4:30 and I've been going before work, and I just noticed my workouts are so much better because I'm not exhausted from the day already.
That's the thing. I'm with you. Like I perform way better early in the day as opposed to later in the day. And I know that kind of sounds like maybe obvious to some people, but it's like, especially like you're saying, you have a half an hour drive. Like anytime you have like a longer drive and you got to sit in the traffic, like, going to work out can be a thing. Now in theory, I could go right from work to my gym. There's actually a gym that's about 5 minutes away. So in theory, I could do that. And around 3:00 when I get off, I still have a decent amount of energy. However, if I do that, then I don't get out of the gym until 5, 6:00. And if that's the case, then now I'm sitting in this wall of traffic. So doing the early thing works out way better. And I know it sounds drastic to a lot of people, but I would rather avoid the traffic because I don't know if you've ever been to this part of the country, but the traffic. I
have not.
Yeah, the traffic around here is not desirable at all. Look at any top 5, top 10 worst traffic in the country list, and Virginia, DC, Maryland area, like it's right on like top 5 every time.
Oh, I bet. One of the things I couldn't stand when I would go to the gym after work, and I'm not getting home until 7:30, 8:00. So I'm eating dinner late, and then I'm going to bed an hour and a half later, and that's not healthy either.
No.
So I was like, okay, so I think that's a problem. I think, I figured out that was a problem for me. So.
Yeah, the whole cycle of like the eating late and going to bed late, and you're just like you're constantly trying to play catch up towards the end of the night. Like, okay, well, I got to get to this and I got to get to this. And then by the time you get to it, it's like when you wake up the next morning, you just feel like you're just done pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no night has been like a great night for sleep,
Yes. Now, do you deal with the thing, because you do stuff in the morning? Like, do you deal with the thing now where like your body, even on like a day off from work, like wakes you up early still?
I get up probably but I wake up and I could go back to sleep, but I could get up probably at 6 to 7 a.m. every single day.
Yeah. My body does that to me all the time. Like there has literally been times where I'm like, okay, body, like, let's just try to sleep till like, I don't know. Can we make it to 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock? Like, let's just be a lazy bum for one day. Nope, not happening. My body's like, hey, it's 5, it's 6 a.m. Let's just get up and go. It can be the worst.
Absolutely.
So you have lost how much now? How much down are you right now?
So I originally lost 154-ish.
Yeah.
And I am lingering around 200. So I gained about 15 pounds back. So I guess in total right now would be like 140, but I definitely plan on getting back down.
Still crushing it though. What are some of the stuff you can do now that you could not do back then other than climb the rock? I'm assuming you went back and climbed that damn rock, right?
No, I didn't. I haven't had the chance yet, but
oh, you have to now.
It'll be all over Instagram. Don't worry.
Yes.
But last winter I played flag football, and I never thought I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
Riding the airplanes, going on roller coasters, I didn't fit on either. I would always squeeze myself into an airplane seat because I was like, there's no way that I'm going to get kicked off this airplane because I only bought one ticket.
Yes.
And so especially when I studied abroad, I know I definitely did not fit in the seat, and I was so self-conscious. I didn't get up during the whole flight from Chicago O'Hare to London. I didn't get up.
Oh my God.
I didn't want to be a burden. I was the window seat, obviously. And so I'd have to get up and go past everybody. And I was like, there's no way. I'm just too self-conscious. I can't. And so airplanes have been nicer to me now.
Yeah.
Even just, I'm going to say it, even just getting in and out of my car. Like,
yes.
The knee, my bad. I already have bad knees, 2 surgeries. So even just getting up and in and out of the car is way different.
What about getting out of bed?
Well, my bed's kind of high up, so like it kind of just like my feet like if I'm sitting on my bed, my feet don't even touch the ground.
Okay, so you never really had the problem when you were bigger of like getting out of the bed and being in all that kind of like pain and stuff? Because I know I dealt with that a lot.
I dealt with a lot of feet pain. So being on my feet at Noodles and Company and not working out, like my heels would hurt so bad that I would like hold my heel and squeeze it from the sides.
Yeah.
And like it would hurt so bad, but it was like a relief kind of hurt, like finally like someone's and I haven't had that heel pain since I was down 50 pounds.
That's incredible.
And I never want to experience that again. I remember I would cry sometimes because that pain was just so bad.
Yeah.
And it's also crazy to me that I would cry because the pain hurt so bad, but that wasn't enough to get me going.
No, sometimes we're not even ready at that point. I mean, I know when I got out of bed, I would feel the pain, feet, ankles, knees, back. I mean, it's all the way up. Every morning I would get out of bed and just feel like I have to walk around for 5 minutes just to get my body awake and out of this pain before I can get my day started.
Right. And then it's so crazy how our bodies just got accustomed to being in pain all the time.
Yes. And I don't know if you dealt with this at all, but like I definitely medicated like every day with ibuprofen pretty much.
Ibuprofen every single day.
Ugh, God.
Now I can't remember last time I had ibuprofen.
Yeah. I found some in my drawer at work. I had like a stash. I had like the Walmart 2-pack with like the 500 tablets in each bottle. Like I found they were expired, so I got to throw them out. But I was just like, my God, I used to eat these things like candy, 4 at one sitting, like twice a day.
Yep.
And that got me through.
Isn't that crazy? 4 at a time.
Yes.
I would do the same thing. And now I'm lucky if I take 2.
Yeah, my only concern is I wonder, like, I hope my insides are not too shot. I mean, because I went for about 5 or 6 years of doing that straight. So I'm hoping and praying that, like, it's not going to be a big problem in a couple of years for me.
I know. I think the same about myself.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you've done so many amazing things. What's kind of next for you? I know you said you want to lose a little bit more. You had gained some, you want to lose some. But what are some of your kind of goals, going into this new year of 2020?
Well, some goals I have for myself. I'm a probation and parole agent, and one of my goals this year is to become a senior agent within our department.
Mm-hmm.
And that means, I have to, it would mean more money. It would mean more like responsibility as far as like my caseload and my, and stuff like that. So that's something, job aspect I would like to do. And then, I would like to be more, involved with I've been asked to host. I've hosted maybe I think four or five times with Diet Bet.
Yes.
I really liked hosting, and I really liked doing that and help motivate people. And so like I really want to become um maybe like do more than 4 this year as far as Diet Bets. I know I did 4 over the past year and a half. So that's a goal of mine. I have 4 weddings to go to this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and so a goal of mine is to not fall off the wagon and let 4 weddings and 4 like it's a lot of stuff plus like the summer and the fairs and all the good stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
So my goal this year is to not, even if I don't lose the last like 14 pounds I want to lose, maybe just maintain, you know, like
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
just because this year is there's a lot going on this year and I don't want to derail any progress I've made back in the right direction.
No, I hear you. I mean, it can definitely be, you know, maintenance, I think is just as hard as, you know, just trying to lose the weight. Cause you're trying to like, you know, it's almost like walking on like a tightrope in a way.
Yeah.
You know, in theory, it sounds simple, but the execution of it is definitely can be difficult. So, I mean, yeah, I think you'll do well with it though.
Thank you, Gary. I've also one other goal that, you know, is not just me, but it's with my boyfriend as well is I want to say this time next year, we kind of want to have our eyes set on on getting a house.
Right.
So that's going to be hopefully a goal for us to look and explore and figure out what we want. And that's going to be all through this year. So
is there a wedding on the horizon?
Oh, no. House first.
House first. Yeah. You gotta make sure that you can live with them first. That's, do you guys live together now?
We do. We've been living together since May of last year.
All right. So you're off to a good start. I would say, you know, if you can make it another year or so, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking too. if he can stand me, that is.
Yeah. You gotta survive each other, and then you'll walk that aisle, and it'll be amazing. So
absolutely,
I'm rooting for you, Danielle. I know you're gonna do amazing things in 2020 and beyond.
Thank you very much, Gary. And I appreciate you asking me to come on here.
Definitely. The only other question I have is to tell everybody where they can get you on the gram and anything else you want to promote.
Oh, my Instagram handle is Danielle Gets Fit 91. And I've been trying to post more workouts. I'm working on it. Okay. I still am self-conscious in the gym, but I'm definitely trying to post more of my workouts. And another thing I'm an athlete for a protein supplement company. They're called Bomar Nutrition. They're amazing. I'm an athlete for them. So what that means is they sponsor me. I promote their products. I try their products, and I only discuss products that I genuinely enjoy. So if I don't like something, I'm not going to promote it. And what I found is I do a lot of reviews on their products to my Instagram stories, and I have a little highlight section about them. And also, anybody who like looks at their products through me and decides to purchase something, they can use the code is just my first name, Danielle.
Yes.
And it just shows the company that I'm repping their brand and that I'm doing for them in their best interest, and shows them that I'm, actively trying to, promote them and do them right. And they are phenomenal. Sarah and Josh Bomar are amazing people. They've worked their company from the ground up and are there throughout every step of the way with it. And they're amazing in their workouts too. I borrow a lot of Sarah's, and, she's very inspirational in her workouts because she targets specific. One of my problems is, like I would do cardio and then I'd jump around from machine to machine, not really focusing on like a certain body area. And she posts certain body part like workouts like shoulders, bis and tris, core, and those have been really, really useful. So yeah.
Well, and I just want to say, I appreciate the fact that you said, like, I only recommend the products that I actually try and like, because that is one thing that Instagram has filled a lot with. And I've been following you long enough to know that you're one of the real legit people, because there are a lot of people that, they just sell stuff that they never have tried. They're trying to sell magical pills down a magical river of dreams and hopes that are ultimately going to be crushed with empty wallets. So, I appreciate that you preface that with that, because that is key. There's a lot of people out there on the gram that are just selling, fake dreams and stuff. And I know that that is not you. I can vouch for you in that regard.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate that so much. That couldn't be any more accurate.
Yes. So I once again, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for doing the podcast, and who knows in the future, if you want to come back on and we can get some updates down the line, I'd love to do that as well.
Oh, I'd love to do that too. Thank you so much for having me.
What an awesome show. Thanks again to Danielle for stopping by. That's going to do it for me for this week. Again, check out patreon.com/Gary Cantrell, as well as if you're enjoying the show, if you're getting value from the show, head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone, iPad, Mac, or PC. Go in there and rate and review 5 stars because you like the show. Tell people why they should listen. What do you get from the show? And help us gain some more traction to get people like Danielle's story out in front of even more people. And with that out of the way, I'm going to get out of here. I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening. Have a good one. We'll talk next time. See ya.